Hi and welcome to today's reading. Today's reading is a general collective reading. I've been pulling through some energy the past couple of days in and around the time frame. Today is the 15th of December. So we've got a full moon in Gemini, I think it is, today. But there is an energetic portal that lies between the 12-12 portal, which was the 12th of December, so a couple of days ago, through until the 21st of December. Which is an alignment with a 777 portal. It's an alignment with a Stargate portal. It's called the Mandela Stargate. Think of a mandala, an intricately woven pattern that's within the cosmic DNA of who you are and who you are meant to become. It's a real sense of rebirth, a DNA alignment that is going on deep within. And I'm hearing Jacob's ladder. Jacob in the Bible had a dream and he was seeing angels going up and down a ladder. And obviously that was thousands of years ago. He wouldn't have understood the meaning of DNA in terms of what it looks like, the way we can see it now, like at that twisting kind of ladder-like DNA strand. Maybe he was seeing in his dream, not angels going up and down a ladder, but actually angels interweaving somebody's DNA, a DNA upgrade. And you'll have to excuse the interruption. There's a connection here between you and animals, because as I started this reading and I look out through my big glass windows out onto my garden, my dog has actually, it's very early on a Sunday morning here, my dog has actually come up to the window outside of where I'm doing the reading. He is my little guardian angel, and he started barking to get my attention from outside of the window. So I had to pause the reading. Now, when you think about the word dog, oh my goodness, a blue and white butterfly. I've never seen a blue and white butterfly in my garden. It almost looks like a Ulysses butterfly. Getting back to my dog. The word dog and the word God, they're the reverse of each other. And I just heard the dog star. What's the dog star? There may be animals around you, or you may have had an animal that is facilitating this DNA upgrade for you. Some sort of rebirth that's happening, because that was the main theme of the energy that I was picking up on. So I'm going to go through the messages that I've been receiving. But first, a bit about me. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. I will then come and use my tarot and oracle decks to further clarify the messages that I am receiving. All of my readings are timeless. They may or may not resonate with you. Please just take the parts of the reading that you're intuitively drawn to and leave the rest for others. Whenever you stumble across this reading, you are meant to find it, even though I am, as I said, recording on the 16th of December. You may not see this reading for another couple of years, and that is because your guides actually guide you to information that you need at a point in your timeline where it is relevant for you. A cosmic piece of the puzzle that is relevant for you at a specific time when you find the reading. If the reading resonates with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. All of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs because I am also an illustrator, part of my, I want to say, cosmic journey to combine my intuitive skills with my illustrative skills. And perhaps maybe, and I want to say that, perhaps maybe that is why you're here. Some sort of rebirth that you're going through that combines something that you are picking up on spiritually, cosmically, intuitively, that is aligning you with a rebirth that you are embarking on, I want to say. I've done a pre-shuffle for all of your cards. And whilst I was doing the pre-shuffle, I had my songs on random shuffle. First of all, whilst I did the pre-shuffle, I put my songs on Gregorian chants, which is the monks of the Abbey of Notre Dame. If you want a clear energy, and you don't even have to have it on loud if you don't specifically like that music, but it is a great energy clearer, as are dogs. or any animal in a room, you can energetically clear the energy in the mid to upper sections of the room. But animals, because they're low-lying, my words today, because they're low-lying, they actually clear the energy around the bottoms of a room. I'm actually going to look up that meaning of the blue and white butterfly, because I've just been called to before I begin. There's obviously something in it. Okay, so a blue butterfly is considered a wish granter. It's joy, change, luck. Now, I've never seen one in my garden, so that's really, really significant, because I see butterflies all the time, but not a blue one. It was like that. Blue is actually that's perfect. Blue is actually the color of Mary, the Virgin Mary. When you think of the Virgin Mary, you think of birth, and that's some of the messages that were actually coming through. I was also seeing in my mind's eye a blue and white. I don't know whether it was, you know how you see those white cars and they've got the blue stripes down the bonnet and over the roof? That's a message for somebody. But again, it's that blue and white, which is, for me, when you look at Mary, and Mary in the tarot deck is the Nine of Pentacles, Venus in Virgo, a rebirth. Independence, freedom is the Nine of Pentacles, a new journey that you are going on. And that blue butterfly in my garden, as I said, I've been doing readings, looking out into my garden in this particular spot in my house for 18 months. And I have never seen a butterfly that color. They've always been black and white or brown and white. I've seen some pale yellow ones, but never a blue one. So the fact that has happened today in this reading is of huge significance. So as I said, I've done a pre-shuffle of all of your cards. We've got Mary coming through in the garden. We've got my dog who was barking. As I said, dog and God is basically the letters reversed. Some sort of synchronicity, some sort of DNA upgrade that's happening within the realms of animals around you. And if you think about animals, there's no agenda. Aside from wanting to be fed or taken for a walk, there's no agenda. What you see is what you get. The messages that you receive from animals can't be manipulated. They're driven by God. They're driven by your angels. They're driven by the messages that you are meant to receive at that specific time, which is just gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to start with the messages that I was getting. I've been getting all these messages through about Mary, the Virgin Mary, Mother Mary, in relation to the nativity scene. Now, I have gone down a bit of a rabbit hole in the past few months looking at the synchronicities, because I've been getting heaps and heaps of biblical messages, looking at the synchronicities between references in the Bible. And when I talk about the Bible, I'm generally, my focus, and I'm not going to ram religion down your throat, but my focus has been through the messages that have been coming through on the three Abrahamic faiths. So Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Now, those faiths all follow the same God, but there's three. And in my meditation yesterday, I just kept seeing a triangle. Triangles after triangles after triangles, and they were flipping around and around and around. So in Hebrew and in Greek alphabets, letters are assigned to a numerical number, which means that any word that's spelled out within biblical text is assigned a number. Now, Mary or Miriam is the number 532. Ironically, nativity is also the number 532. And a lot of the stuff that was coming through was about the virgin birth and the way Mary's name was written. It was written with a closed mem, meaning untouched, a new beginning, brand new. I was pulling in information about the 3 days of darkness, which is not something that I heard of until this year, but only in the last few days I've been thinking about the three religions and the darkness within those three religions. And perhaps if you are aligned to any of those religions, some sort of change that you are making because of something that you are seeing in the 3D world. And again, in that number 3, I was hearing the word alchemy. Also, you are the creator, and that you have actually been the angel guardian for yourself, the angel guardian for this rebirth, this change. And I was getting the image of, you know, the movie, if you've seen, or if you're older, you would have seen it, the movie The Never-Ending Story. And he goes up and stands in front of those sphinxes, and he sees all these other people try and go through, and the sphinx's eyes open up with a laser beam and kind of shoot down anybody that tries to come through. But he stands there, and because he essentially faces himself, internally faces himself, he's allowed to go through. And that feeling of, as part of this DNA upgrade that you are going through, as part of this Mandela Stargate that you are going through, perhaps you've been thinking that there's been something external holding you back from this rebirth that you're about to go through, but it's actually been your internal guardian, your higher self, that's actually been holding you back until this particular point in time. Now, when we look at the number 21, that's 3 sevens. 7 is a highly spiritual number. So getting back to that number 532, which is Mary, it's also the nativity. The number 5 is change. If we look at numerology, the number 5 is change. The number 3 is creativity, something new that you want to nurture and rebirth. The 9 of Pentacles, which I said is freedom, it's also independence. It can be financial freedom, it can be spiritual freedom, it can be emotional freedom. So 5 is change, 3 is creativity, 2 is patience. This is the journey that you've been on. The journey that you've been on to those 2 internal sphinxes in your life, this DNA upgrade that you're about to go through, this portal that you're about to go through, where if you've been doing the work, your internal guardian, your internal angel guardian, it's almost like you're looking at yourself in the mirror, because you're looking at your internal guardian and they're giving you the path to go through. As part of this DNA upgrade, that's what you get, is this beautiful DNA upgrade. This potentially it's coming through in a dream state. And as I said, it's the 15th of December today. The moon in Gemini. Gemini's communication, some sort of communication coming through to you. Now, if I go back to numerology, so a 5 is a change, 3 is creativity, and 2 is patience. 532. That number may have significance to you in other aspects. I'm just pulling in on the energy that I'm picking up on, and it's almost like when you watch a tarot reading, and you are intuitively drawn to a number or something that somebody says, it's meant for you to then go and investigate further. Take that number if you're intuitively drawn to it and look at where else it aligns in your life. A 5, a 3, and a 2. 5 and 3 is 8 and 2 is 10. 10s are the end, and 10s convert back to a 1. 1 and 0. A 10 converts to a 1. A 1 is a rebirth, an ending and a beginning. But that number may have been playing out. You may see that number on number plates everywhere. The universe is sending you messages through music, through animals, through songs about this rebirth that you're going through. As I said, from the 12th to the 21st, it's called the 13th Activation Stargate, or the Mandela Stargate. And it's activating us for what we are meant to be starting for this rebirth that's happening in 2025. In January of 2025, so in a couple of weeks' time, we actually hit the North Node going into Pisces. Pisces is dreamy energy, it's spirituality. Massive, massive transformation. It is 18 months of collectively being aligned with this beautiful Piscean spiritual energy. The South Node, which is going to be in Virgo for the 18 months. Virgo is very practical, very methodical, very practical. And it's a releasing of that and stepping into the flow of spirituality, whatever is connecting you spiritually with the path, this rebirth that you're meant to be on, with this DNA upgrade that you're going through. And this part was beautiful. It's your true self without form and body. Now, as I was doing the pre-shuffle for this reading, a notification popped up on my phone. I've actually... And if this reading resonates with you, she may or may not resonate with you, but I've just started following Candace Owens. And a notification from her popped up on my phone. And it said, I don't fear them, I fear telling a lie. And what she was talking about was the fact that the world is dictated by reality, meaning that if you speak your truth, you have a fear of being cancelled or rejected, or she was talking about herself, some sort of comment being made about something that you are doing. And she was saying she doesn't fear that anymore, that she doesn't want to be dictated by reality, by the reality of everybody else. She actually wants to be dictated by her own feelings and her own worth and what spiritually she aligns with. And that really resonated with me. And it was perfect because it's the energy that I'm picking up on. Now, I'm going to go through these cards. As I said, I was doing the pre-shuffle. These cards were just sat on the top. Now, I'd shuffled that deck, but I don't know why, but 3 of them just slid off the top and landed. The first card is the deepest. Use of Cat Stevens. Look, Cat Stevens is a singer who went through a moment of an epiphany, the hangman. Went through a moment of change. He was swimming off of California and he got pulled out by a rip, by the current, took him out, and he thought he was going to drown, and he had this epiphany. His whole life flashed before his eyes and he had this epiphany, and in that moment he decided to convert to Islam. A major life change, a major rebirth. When songs come out, it's not necessarily about the lyric of the song. There might be information in that for you. It could be the title of the song. It could be the artist. But for me, in the context of this reading, it's about a massive change that he made, a spiritual change that he made. The first cut is the deepest. I think in some contexts, there might be somebody watching this reading that's worried about speaking your authentic truth. And perhaps that Candace Owens quote came through. You don't need to fear them or fear what somebody is going to say about a change that you're making. Be fearful about telling a lie, as in be fearful about not being able to live in your authenticity. The first cut is the deepest. Once you tell somebody something, it's almost like ripping the Band-Aid off. Fix you, Coldplay. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try and fix you. Something that you are being guided to do. If you think of a light, it's a lighthouse. Something that you are being guided to do, because spiritually, when you think about DNA, DNA is what's happening inside your body. Something that you are doing, something that you are in is not aligning with your DNA. It's causing irreparable damage in your body. Your DNA needs to be fixed. Fix you. And it comes with this rebirth that you're about to embark on, that you've been thinking about. Push the button, let me know. I've got this image of somebody just hovering over. Do I do it? Do I do it? Yes, push the button. Say something. A great big world is out there for you. And I even think of myself, you know, as I said in the intro, I have a spiritual background. I have an intuitive background. I have a religious background. And obviously, I'm nearly 50. I've been illustrating, honing my artistic craft ever since I could pick up a pencil and draw. It's only been in the last few years that I've combined the two. a great big world, and it has opened up this huge spiritual expanse for me. It has been mind-blowing. It's the first time images have actually intuitively, spiritually come to life. They've come out of the card. Say something. It's time to speak your truth. It's time to stand in front of your internal angel guardian and say, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm ready. I'm ready to push the button. Now, the cards that I got through the other decks, don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. What are you being guided to do? Where are you being guided to go? Trust your inner wisdom. Trust what your instincts are telling you. The Magician card, which is number 2. The Death card, which is number 13, which is death and rebirth. If you think about Cat Stevens, where is he here? Yusuf. That's what is now known as Yusuf. A rebirth. And the Nine of Wands, the wounded healer. This is your DNA. This is where you are. And this is what needs to be healed. And potentially you've already been doing the healing work. But it's what needs to be healed in order for you to manifest this new beginning. Now, the Magician card comes after the Fool. The Fool is the new beginning. So we've already had death and rebirth. The Fool is the new beginning. The Fool then journeys to the Magician. And the Magician says to him, you have everything that you need inside. You just have to pick the tool that you need in order to manifest this new beginning. Inner wisdom. And then the main card that was coming out is the Hangman. That's an epiphany. The Hangman in the original drawing of the tarot is somebody who turns themselves upside down in order to get a different perspective. Your life may have been turned upside down in order for you to get a different perspective. It's number 12. And if I go back to that number, 532, which is Mary, a new beginning. The number 5 is change. The number 3 is creativity. Thinking outside the box. What are you being creatively drawn to? Inner wisdom. Don't listen to others. Just listen to your heart. Number 2 is patience. It's the journey that you have been on. Now in the tarot, the number 5 is the Hierophant. So that's a soul contract that you have with the man upstairs. It can be, because we've got the Death card here, the death of a soul contract that you have for the first phase of your life, where you are born, the country that you are born into, the circumstance, financial, that you are born into, the spiritual beliefs that you are born into. And this all pertains to, where your soul dropped into, where your soul was initially born on this planet. All dictate the structures, the Hierophant, that you are bound to. And then some sort of activation. And then some sort of catalyst. And then we've had some sort of activation. You've gone through some sort of change. And I want to say too, and I'm editing a reading at the moment, which will go up 2 readings before this one. Jupiter is in the sky at the moment. It's Jupiter in Gemini is currently at play, and it's at play around this portal. I just want to say Stargate portal that's happening on the 21st. And I just heard Emmanuel, Christ Splendor. As I said, when I was doing the pre-shuffle, Christ Splendor was the Gregorian chant song that was playing. It's Christ-like energy, which aligns with that message of the nativity scene. As I said, Yusuf Cat Stevens. Now, I'm not sure what religion he was before, but in Islam, they also believe in Christ. Obviously, in Judaism, there's a different take on it, but he's certainly referenced within the biblical text. Some sort of Christ-like energy coming through. And you've had an epiphany about it, which is activating this DNA upgrade. But the Hierophant, is number 5. So this 532 number. And Mary birthed Christ. 532. The Hierophant is number 5. 3 is the Empress card. So if we're looking at tarot cards, before we were looking at the numerology of 532. Number 3 is the Empress card. The Empress is the Virgin Mary. The Empress is Venus and Taurus. It's Taurus is your worth, and Venus is what you are nurturing, what you want to nurture. Don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. And then the number 2 is the High Priestess, your inner knowing. Perhaps what you've been keeping secret. Say something. A change that you want to make that you've been keeping a secret. For fear of being judged by others. Candace Owens, I don't fear them. I fear telling a lie. Maybe you're at the point where if you keep up the facade of keeping something, some sort of rebirth that you are going through or that you want to make, if you keep up the facade in order to keep things balanced in your outer world, in your 3D reality, you're realizing that it means that you are then lying to yourself. I fear telling a lie to myself. I don't fear them. I fear telling a lie. It's aligning with your true self without form or body. And I would imagine that if you keep up that facade, and if I think about, when I was talking before about, is his name Atreyu, walking up to those sphinxes in the never-ending story, keeping up that facade, your internal guardian angel will see that and you'll get shot by the laser beam. In order to pass through this point, in order to pass through this Mandela Stargate, in order to get this DNA activation, you actually have to stand in your authenticity. And this is what this December 21st portal is about. This Christ-like energy. Interesting. Okay, now, finally, I'm going to give you the songs that came through on the random shuffle, which were just perfect. First of all, I got Thirst by Phil Wickham. Now, Phil Wickham is a religious singer. Again, it's not necessarily the full song, the full lyric of the song. It can be just a message in the title of the song or just a lyric that kind of stands out when I'm listening. Wash me over like a tidal wave. Clean out what pulls me to the grave. Literally the first 2 lines. It's almost like a tsunami. I mean, if you think about Cat Stevens, he got pulled out. Wash me over like a tidal wave. Clear out what pulls me to the grave. What's actually making you sink? Something that's been pulling you under. And it's because you're not living in your authentic self. Then I got Heart's Content. Now that's Brandi Carlile. That aligns with the movie Safe Haven. Perhaps you have been safe in not saying something. But in that movie, she was being abused by her husband. And so she ran away to this tiny little coastal town and found herself. A change that perhaps you need to make. I just heard leaving everything behind, which is what she did in that movie. I will list all these songs and any movies that are referenced in the description. If you want to, if you're called to intuitively, there may be more messages in them for you. Foolish One. That's a Taylor Swift song. The first line, my cards are on the table. Say something. And then this song, which is George Harrison, Behind That Locked Door. And I'm going to read you the first verse because it just aligns beautifully. And as I said before, I put my songs on random shuffle. I put a intention out there in regards to the messages that are coming through for the reading to give me more information, aligning with the energy that's coming through. And it's a great tool to use if you want to connect with your guides, to get clarification on things that you are intuitively picking up on. So this song, Behind That Locked Door. Why are you still crying? Your pain is now through. Please forget these teardrops. Let me take them for you. The love you are blessed with, the world's waiting for. So let out your heart, please, from behind that locked door. How lovely is that? So I'm going to pull some cards now for you, and I'm going to see where this energy goes, this rebirth that you are embarking on, this DNA activation. Actually, I'll just pop those there. This DNA activation. Let's do this card. So what I want to look at is what is the energy around you currently? The Four of Cups. Disappointment. That's the moon in Cancer. Whatever energy you are sitting in, it's not feeding your soul is what I want to say. And I don't know whether you can hear that, but that's a hornet. It's coming into, well, it's well and truly in summer now in Australia, but the hornets tend to build nests in little mud nests up in the eaves of the doors. And as I said, I'm looking out onto my garden. Where do you want to build your home? Now, a hornet can also be somebody building their nest in your home. Something siphoning your life force. And actually, Candace Owens, she was basically saying that people write comments underneath posts and stuff. And she said, I just want to let people know that I actually don't care what people say. She said you could write the meanest, nastiest thing, but it means absolutely nothing to her because she is spiritually rich and sound. She's internally dictated by her internal feelings and the journey that she's on. Don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. So any of that, I want to say rhetoric, doesn't actually affect her at all. People around you saying, perhaps if you've said something about a journey that you want to take, that they're disappointed in you, but it actually means nothing. Because by staying where you are in the energy, this is the energy around you, you're not being your authentic self. You are living a lie. We've got the Six of Cups on the bottom, which is the Sun in Scorpio. It's people from your past. People from your past almost anchoring you or trying to anchor you. This is emotional, I want to say emotional manipulation. People trying to emotionally manipulate you because of a change that you're making, or maybe this is something that you're worried about. Perhaps it's what's kept you in the Hangman, but you're actually saying, yeah, I'm not going to be anchored to the past. As I said before, with the Hierophant, where did we have the Hierophant? Oh, it was the number 5, that 532 number. This rebirth that you're going through. The Hierophant is where you align with in the first phase of your life. And if you think about somebody who goes through a Saturn return, Saturn is the first, well, Saturn's your karmic teacher, but you go through your first karmic return at 27, between 27 and 28, and then you go through another one just before you hit 55 to 60, and it's literally another set of lessons, and then you go through another one, 28 years later. And it's a reflecting back, and we've just had Saturn for the past few months has been retrograde in Pisces. So a reflecting back of, you don't have to be that age, but it's picking up the themes of reflecting back on where you have been, the set of circumstances, the karmic lessons that you have been in, and deciding to make a change because it no longer aligns with you. It only brings disappointment. The things from your past only bring disappointment, but you have to be there in order to learn those lessons. Okay, so this is you. What's happening? If we were to look at you, bird's eye view, look at you. How are you reflecting in the 3D? As I said, are you being dictated by your reality? What are you showing outwardly? Or are you being truthful, your true self without form or body? Let's have a look. Two of Cups. That's a beautiful card. The Two of Cups is Venus in Cancer. That's you're in alignment with yourself. You've come into alignment with yourself. The Two of Cups is a soulmate card. It's a soul alignment. It is a balancing of your masculine and your feminine energy. Now, the Empress is divine feminine energy. The Emperor is divine masculine energy. Listen to that. It's giving me this vibe of people in your ear. You can't do this. You can't make this change. The Two of Cups is balanced. Balanced energy. Divine feminine, divine masculine, which we all hold within. Whether you are, it's not gender specific, whether you are male or female. That's beautiful. That's when your intuition, inner wisdom, then guides your path forward. Because if you're in heavy masculine energy, that's Mars energy. If your masculine energy is too dominant, then you tend to do things, I want to use the word overzealous. If you think about the Chariot card, because that's Venus in Cancer. So Cancer, the major arcana is the Chariot card. The Chariot card has got two sphinxes on the front. This is perfect, actually, because in the never-ending story, there's two sphinxes. Divine feminine, divine masculine energy. If you think about a chariot, it's being pulled by these two sphinxes. If one is too dominant, then the chariot kind of veers off course. They both need to be in balance. Your divine feminine and divine masculine energy is in balance. Two of Cups, you've come into alignment with yourself, which means that that chariot now can move forward. You can get this DNA upgrade, this realignment, this activation through this Stargate portal. Full moon in Gemini. Interesting. Okay, what's happening in your soul? Oh, look at that. I don't know whether that was in the shot. That card just flipped out, the Sun. Enlightenment underneath the Hangman. You've gotten the enlightenment about the journey that you're meant to take. The Sun is the happiest card in the deck. And that little wasp is still, that little hornet is still bzzz. You've got somebody in your ear. Don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. This is your soul. That's the happiest card in the deck. This new journey is what's going to set your soul on fire. Heart's Content, that song. Behind that locked door. My cards are on the table. Okay, what's the message from the man upstairs? I say no more. It's the Ten of Cups. What I was going to say was, and it landed on this card, which means there's relevance. Yes. You're getting a big fat yes from the divine. To say that if you stood in front of, look at that on the bottom, the devil. The devil is Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is your, as I said before, your karmic teacher. You have learned the lessons. You have got yourself in balance. You've recognized that where you are no longer serves you. You've gotten the enlightenment. The message from the man upstairs, the Ten of Cups, Mars in Pisces. Mars is that forward action, moving forward. You can now move the chariot forward. This is Venus in Cancer because you are in alignment. If you stand in front of the sphinxes, if you stand in front of your internal angel guardian, you are going to be let through. And a yes. And I've just looked it up. In the 1984 film, that number might be of significance. The 1984 film, The Never-Ending Story, the Sphinx Gate is one of the first of 3 gates that Atreyu must pass through to reach the Southern Oracle. The Sphinx Gate, a pair of yellow sphinxes, a pair of yellow sphinxes that shoot lasers at anyone who tries to pass between them. The next gate is the magic mirror, reveals a person's true nature. And the no key gate causes the person to lose their memory and can only be opened. This is saying this first gate, part of this journey that you're on. How beautiful is that? To reach the Southern Oracle. There's messages in that movie. And it's funny actually because my dog kind of looks like Falcor from that movie. Sometimes when he sleeps, looks like Falcor. He's a beautiful cream and white Australian Labradoodle. That's so funny that he popped up. Look at that. The Ace of Wands on the card. Okay, let's have a look at the final outcome here for you. What's waiting for you? The Ten of Wands. That's the end. The Ten of Wands is Saturn and Sagittarius. Tens are the end. Tens are karmic completion. Tens, as I said before, 5, 3, 2, that number adds up to a 10, which reverts to a 1 in numerology. 1 is a new beginning. There's a new beginning after all these layers of lessons. Saturn and Sagittarius. And when I think about Sagittarius, the arrow, if you think about Sagittarius, it's the archer takes its shot. The arrow, which is the glyph for Sagittarius, when the arrow shoots, it's the arc of a rainbow, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And I've said this before in other readings. Sagittarius, this archer in Japan, there's a notion that when an archer takes a shot, they're firing from this internal balance from their heart center. Don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. They're not firing from their mind, they're firing from this internal balance in their heart center. That's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And look at that on the bottom. Spiritual enlightenment, the Ace of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Beautiful water energy coming in there. And you think of Noah's Ark. That's a dove on top. Look at that, lovers underneath. We've got this water energy coming through. We're talking about, you know, Cat Stevens swimming out in the water. Maybe you felt like you were drowning where you were. Four of Cups is water energy. When you think about water, I think about Noah's Ark. The earth was flooded and a new beginning. And what did he do? He sent out a dove. He didn't send out a dove. He sent out a raven, actually. He sent out a raven, which is spiritual enlightenment. And then he saw a dove and a rainbow. Interesting. Okay, let's get some cards. Let's find out about what is in and around you. I want that deck. In and around you, this disappointment, Page of Wands. In this card, this guy, now this is, if I'm picking up love themes for you, if you're coming to this reading in terms of some sort of spiritual love connection, then that's fine. Take those messages. But I'm doing it as a collective reading, a general reading. If those themes come through, then that's great. But for me in this card, it's about the energy around you is not allowing you. He's hiding up behind the tree. He actually wants to come down and speak his truth in order to heal something. This is a connecting of your divine masculine, divine feminine energy. Not being able to be your true authentic self within the energy that is around you at the moment. Four of Cups, let's find out more. Disappointing, yeah, devil. The devil there. Toxic people that are not allowing you to stand in your truth, to be who you want to be, that are keeping you. Oh, look at that. That's come out upside down. In reverse. The star is your destined path. It's your true north. And it's in reverse. Devil energies which are keeping you from your destined path. I want to say, because we've got Venus in Cancer is the Four of Cups. Not Venus, it's the moon in Cancer. This is Venus in Cancer. The moon is what's hidden. Temperance, balance on the bottom. Toxic people around you. And it's societal energy. It's this fear of if you say something, you're going to get cancelled. Which is what Candace Owens was talking about. But she said, I don't want to fear them. She said, I don't fear them. I fear telling a lie, fearing not being able to stand in your authentic truth because of the toxic energies at play. You've got the Temperance card there. That's divine timing and the Seven of Cups. What are you going to choose? Let's find out. Two of Cups. This is you, balanced. Wow. Hierophant and the Moon. The Moon is emotions. Now, the Moon can be things that are hidden, but again, look, these two people. Balance, divine feminine, divine masculine energy. The Moon is Pisces and Neptune. You're balanced because you've gone down to the depths of who you are spiritually. You've found your true self without form or body. And it's aligned you because we had the Hierophant before, which is the number 5, 532. It's aligned you with the next phase on your soul's journey. You've completed one soul contract with these energies and you are stepping in, because this is 3D energy, you are stepping into your new soul contract because you've gone down to the depths and you've aligned yourself with your true self. You're stepping in front of your internal angel guardian. You're stepping in front of the Sphinx gate on this new journey that you are on. This is so beautiful, this reading. So beautiful. Okay, let's have a look at this Sun energy. This is what's happening in your soul. 5 of Wands. Change. That's Saturn and Leo. And I want to say here that it's getting the enlightenment that the soul contract that you've had up until this point has been part of a journey that you've been on. Part of a spiritual journey that you've been on. If you think about Cat Stevens, you know, the 5 of Wands is him literally stuck out, carried out by the current, stuck out so far that he couldn't call for help. It's almost a surrender because you've had that understanding that in order to save yourself, you actually have to come into spiritual alignment. That the battle that you have been in within your soul has not really, on the surface, in the 3D, it's been a battle with other people, but it's actually almost been an internal battle. And you've conquered it with the Sun here. True self without form and body. That what other people say doesn't matter. What else? This is so beautiful. The 5 of Pentacles. 5, 5. We've got change, which is Hierophant energy. Change energy. And if you have a look, the cage door is open. If you look at that little bird, he's facing away from the door, meaning that the door was open the whole time. He just couldn't see it because he was too busy battling externally with people instead of gaining that internal clarity. Alchemy, internal alchemy. You are the creator. If you think about, you know, we go back to Mary, who was coming through in the beginning of the reading. In a time, in that particular time, when Angel Gabriel came to her and said, you're going to have a baby, but it's not going to be physically with a man. She had to battle her mind. She had to center herself and know that a path that others may have thought, the star, destiny, that others may have seen as ridiculous and not in her highest good, was actually what was meant for her, and she was being called to it. Whatever this is, you're being called to it because it's meant to align with you spiritually. And anybody that's meant to, what I want to say here is, and we've got, as I said, we've got the Moon in Gemini. Anybody that's meant to align with you spiritually on this next phase of your journey. So what then happened was she obviously received that message from Angel Gabriel. And Gabriel plays a huge part in those 3 religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Same God, same angels. Her fear was that because she was betrothed to Joseph, her fear was that people would think that she had been unfaithful. But Angel Gabriel then appeared to Joseph in a dream to explain why Mary was pregnant and that it wasn't that she had been unfaithful. Anybody that's meant to come with you will get some sort of dream download, deeper understanding of the journey that you're meant to be on, because potentially they're part of the next phase. But anybody that's not meant to be there, the devil, will be removed. What does that want to open up on? The Ace of Pentacles. Been a long journey. Been a long journey. Okay, this is the message from the man upstairs about this situation. Okay, we're moving on to calmer waters. That is the Six of Swords, which is Mercury in Aquarius. And that's just brought me to the point. So before I said 5 is the Hierophant, 3 is the Empress, and 2 is the Moon. But in numerology, the number 5 is change, the number 3 is creativity, and number 2 is patience. But if I look at 3 and a 2 together, it's the number 32. That number kept coming through. The number 32 aligns with music. If we look at Cat Stevens, changed the type of music or the context of the music. You might actually have started to change the types of music that you listen to. Maybe you were listening to mainstream music previously. Now, as I'm rolling through the different videos that Candace has put up, there's one video that popped up this morning, and it was talking about the satanic culture in mainstream music. As in, every song is about, I mean, a lot of those songs, they can't even play on the radio. They're just so filthy and vulgar. Like, why do you need to hear that? Like, seriously. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a prude. Obviously, you know, we go back to the Virgin Mary here. But some things are meant to be sacred. The Six of Swords. In this reading that I was editing this morning, I was talking about Paul Kelly, who is an Australian singer. And he's got a song called How to Make Gravy, which is a song that talks about the 21st of December, which is this Mandela Stargate, this Activation Stargate, this Sphinx Stargate, if we want to align it with the never-ending story. And I was called, intuitively guided, to look at where his Mercury was. And interestingly, the Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius, which is actually where his Mercury falls in his chart. Mercury is how you communicate. Mercury is the magician. Here. Mercury, how you communicate. What's under here? The Six of Cups. Perhaps the way you communicated in the past, the Six of Cups is the Sun in Scorpio. Perhaps the way you communicated with these devil energies in the past, within the surroundings of where you were in the past, is no longer spiritually in alignment with you. Paul Kelly, that song, How to Make Gravy, is about somebody who is in prison. What he did was he wanted to write a Christmas song, but he wanted to write it, well, because his Mercury is in Aquarius. Aquarius is the rebel. Aquarius doesn't want to fit in. Aquarius doesn't want to conform. Aquarius is somebody who would stick needles in their eyes if you told them that they had to be the same as everybody else. Mercury in Aquarius. You don't want to communicate the same way as everybody else, the same way as these people that are around you, the energies that are around you. You don't align anymore. So what he did was he wrote a Christmas song, but instead of writing a Christmas song about the normal things that Christmas songs are about, he wrote it about a man who was in jail, who was thinking about what it would be like on Christmas Day when all his friends and family and children and loved ones were celebrating Christmas, but he wasn't there because he was stuck in jail. The Eight of Swords, which is Jupiter and Gemini, which is a placement that is there and that's being activated on the portal of the 21st of December. And that song, the lines of that song, it's the 21st of December. Now they're ringing the last bell. So this is a guy with Mercury in Aquarius. How he communicates now is different to everybody else. This is the message from the man upstairs. And it goes back to that, I don't want to fear them, or I don't fear them. The way I now want to communicate where I'm headed spiritually, I no longer fear, because your biggest fear now is in telling a lie, being unfaithful to yourself, getting out of this Two of Cups balanced energy. That's the 3D energy. That's the energy that you're in. You now want to move forward, moving on to calmer waters, the Six of Swords. You want to now move forward, set yourself free. The Sun, enlightenment, and enlighten people to this new journey that you're on, because you are spiritually rich and sound. 10 of Wands, heavy burdens. Tens are the end, karmic completion, reverts back to a 1, which is a new beginning. The King of Wands on the bottom of this deck is somebody who's made a decision to leave their old life behind. In that particular deck, leave their old life behind. Step up to that Stargate, step up to that Sphinx Gate. You are the creator. And I want to say too, when you think about the nativity, because Mary or Miriam, 532, the nativity is 532. And maybe you want to change religion. George Harrison, behind that locked door, he was a highly spiritual guy. He was Hindu. I don't think he was a Buddhist. No, I think yoga, meditation, very, very spiritual guy. And that's what happens when you go through some sort of spiritual awakening, which is this epiphany card here, this hangman. You're getting a different perspective of where you want to head. This is the final outcome here. This guy making a decision. The Five of Cups, to walk away from the things that don't serve you. When I was talking about, and my brain is just going off on 50 different tangents. When I was talking about the nativity before, I was saying the nativity, Mary in the nativity is all 532. Another 5. Change, change, change. And we've got a 3. Look, we've got, actually, look at this. A 5, 3 cups and 2 cups. 532. Rebirth. The nativity, actually an image popped up in my feed yesterday on Instagram, and it was of the dog nativity scene. So they basically created a nativity scene, but with all the different dogs. So cute. 532. In the nativity scene, in the traditional nativity scene, you've got Joseph and Mary and the baby, you've got shepherd and a couple of sheep, and you've got the star on top of the roof. And then you've got the 3 wise men. Now the 3 wise men, and I want to say here, gold, frankincense and myrrh. There's something about that that has relevance to 532 as well. And I know I heard that when I was watching a video the other day. Gold, frankincense and myrrh. 532. I don't know whether it's the elements. I'm not sure. But those wise men came from a different culture to Mary and Joseph, came from a different religion to Mary and Joseph. They followed the stars. I want to say they weren't Muslim, because Islam wasn't born until 500 years after the birth of Jesus. They were Persian, but they came because of this star that they saw in the sky, and meant to have been an alignment of Jupiter and Regulus in the sky. Jupiter, the king star, and Regulus, which is one of the royal stars of Persia, and it was an alignment that was in the sky. When you make this change, this is the message from the universe. When you complete this karmic cycle, 10, karmic completion, when you have this new beginning, this new birth, Mary giving birth to this baby, It's going to draw in like the Star of Bethlehem. It's going to draw in the people, the soul family that are meant to be part of this next journey that you're on. Because if you stay where you are, the Star is in reverse. If you continue living the lie. Okay, what's on the bottom? Got the Ace of Cups on the bottom, which is over here. Let's get one more here. The Empress. 5, 3. The Empress is Venus and Taurus. There's a beautiful, the Empress is Mother Mary. There's a beautiful new beginning waiting for you because you've got yourself into alignment. If you're looking at this as a romantic reading, you're walking away from 3 broken cups and headed towards this 2 of Cups here, the Empress. The gate's open. And on the bottom, death and rebirth. A new beginning is being afforded to you. This is so lovely. Okay, I'm gonna put that yes card there. Let's get some, oh my goodness. It's just come out in a big chunk. Let's get some cards for you. Let's get some messages from your guides. And I want to say here, it's your internal angel guardian that has carried you forth on this journey, spiritually rich and sound, and got you to a point where you can stand in front of yourself. That first Sphinx Stargate, something about scars, internal scars maybe that you've been working on. That's got you into alignment so you can actually walk through. Now the next one is the mirror in that movie, patience and perseverance. Wow, new beginnings, walking away, how gorgeous. Communication, legacy. One more. If you wanted a sign, you're already doing it. Don't fear. Don't fear them. Fear telling a lie. Fear, what you need to be fearful of is not being your authentic self. And remain calm at this time. Oh, this is beautiful, this reading. So beautiful. Just looking at the notes, I've got the 3 days of darkness, the 3 religions. You may remain calm. I want to say the SHIT might hit the fan, and you may get, and actually that was another video that came through. It was about Mars. There's a Mars placement at the moment. I don't know where it is. I'm not really big on the astrology. It's really, when I'm pulling through astrology and readings, it's really only the things that I'm shown at the time that have significance to what's going to come out in the cards. There's a placement of Mars at the moment. Is it? And I can't search it up because it's on my phone. And I want to say Mars and Uranus. Uranus is the Fool card. Uranus is earthquakes. Mars energy is people coming forward, unbalanced people coming forward. And you may have noticed it at the moment. I certainly, as I'm viewing within, my own world at the moment, people quite not trigger happy, or people quite triggered by things that other people say. And then all of a sudden, you can go from a normal conversation to being quite interlocked in some sort of physical verbal battle with somebody. And it's this Mars energy that's at play at the moment. Remain calm at this time. This devil energy, 3 days of darkness. You might actually find, we're seeing it, aren't we, playing out collectively at the moment, these battles between these 3 religions that all follow the same God. But it's potentially battles that you're going to be in, and what you're being asked to do is communicate your spiritual truth. Do it in a way, a calm way, Why? Because you are spiritually rich and sound. Patience and perseverance. Maybe you need to explain to somebody the journey that you've been on. And if they understand it, great. If they're meant to get further clarification from a higher source about the journey that you are on, like Joseph did, because I imagine when Mary first came to him and said, hey, I'm pregnant, you know, he probably flipped his lid. But then he got extra clarification. The people that are meant to come with you are meant to come with you. Patience and perseverance, new beginnings, walking away from those people that just don't have the mental, spiritual capacity to understand the journey that you are now on. To understand that the steps that you've been taking, you're already doing it, is part of a legacy. Maybe you've been breaking away and they're kind of trying to, maybe they don't understand the Six of Swords, Mercury in Aquarius, that the way you are now communicating, maybe it doesn't align with them anymore. It's because that phase of the spiritual journey that you were meant to be on with that person, that part of that soul contract with the Hierophant coming through so often, the lessons that you were meant to learn with that person are now complete. And it's the next phase of your journey. If you think about Atreyu in the Never-Ending Story, it was a journey that he had to go on alone, a solo journey that he went on alone. And I don't know whether I said it before. 5, 3, 2. 5 is change, 3 is creativity, 2 is patience, but 32 is music. Change in the music you listen to. Paul Kelly. A change in the way he communicates through the music that he creates, that he listens to. It's all intertwined. Okay, let's get an angel. What angel is walking with you? 66, Manical, neurological disorders. Okay, that angel aligns with the 7 of Swords, which is the moon in Aquarius. But when that card comes out for me, it makes me, let me just have a look what's on the bottom, and number 12, I'm not going to pronounce that. Adversity, lucid dreaming, and discerning secrets. That aligns with the Page of Swords, which is the Sun in Gemini. That's cutting people out. The Sun in Gemini is also the 10 of Swords, cutting people out. 10 of Swords is backstabbing. It's people that have betrayed you. It makes me think of that name of that little boy in that movie, Atreyu, betray. Same sort of. There is a book, and I'm just going to see if I can find it. Okay, this is the book. Gabor Mate, When the Body Says No, The Cost of Hidden Stress. That particular book talks about the link between, now he's a physician, Canadian physician. It talks about the link between stress, PTSD, hidden stress, and how if you hold it in, if you fear telling your truth and you hold it in and you live a lie, the effect that it actually has on your body, because that stress, it's like a dam's going to break. That stress has to manifest somewhere. We had the Magician twice. That stress has to manifest somewhere. You can't hold it in. If you think of Cat Stevens, he would have been pulled under the water. It's drowning. And oftentimes it presents, as specifically if you, now I am not a medical doctor, and if you're called to that book, if you feel like you need to go and see a medical professional, please do that. I'm not offering advice. It's just that when this card comes out, I am intuitively guided to pull out that book. And I think at the moment, so many stories coming out about, well, I know in Australia it's a big problem about soldiers that are coming back from war-torn areas and they can't process or deal with the things that they have seen. Same with soldiers in the Middle East at the moment. Many soldiers within the Israeli army coming back and taking their lives. But for other people who choose not to do that, who to keep that bottled in, it then manifests other ways in their body. And this particular doctor, that book is about all the different ways that stress can manifest into medical conditions within your body. And many of them, especially for people with underlying autoimmune conditions. So autoimmune conditions are things where your immune system is compromised it can be something as simple as asthma or eczema or allergies or any of those things where your immune system is compromised. Gut health. It then manifests for many of those people in neurological disorders. Now, that's not to say that anybody who has a neurological disorder has had some sort of bottled up trauma, emotion response through whatever karmic lessons they've learned in the first phase of their life. But it is something that he has done countless studies about. So if that is calling to you, then that might be something that you want to look into in terms of even going a bit further. I will list that book in the description box. Going a bit further into that space. And as I said, if you feel, once you've done a bit more investigation, if you feel like you need to go and see someone, then I urge you to go and see somebody. That's the moon in Aquarius. It's a card of lying, cheating, stealing, which is the Seven of Swords. But it's also the card of deception. Something that's happening in your body. And I think of one story in there about people with MS. Now, not everybody with MS, but what he had found was the instance of women getting MS, and specifically women who essentially took on the emotional burden of everybody in their family, their children, their husband. He started to see through studies that there was a connection between the rate of women that got MS over the rate of men that got MS, and that in a traditional family setting, it was the woman that took on the emotional burden of the children and the spouse and kind of suppressed all of that, and then it manifested. MS is a neurological disorder. PTSD, a neurological disorder. And for many people with underlying compromised immune systems, it then manifested. Adversity, lucid dreaming, and discerning secrets. That's just for somebody. Okay, let's get a moon oracle. Let's see if the moon wants to tell us anything else about this rebirth. Wow. New moon in Libra marks the start of a brand new romantic chapter. Now, as I said, this could be a love reading for you, but that's a balance within yourself. And we've got the full moon in Capricorn. Get ready. The finish line of a tough cycle is in sight. Let's get our nodes of Destiny deck. Is there anything else that you need to be looking at? Your North Node in Scorpio. Under the cosmic influence of the North Node in Scorpio, it's time to Marie Kondo our lives. Bid farewell to those outdated patterns, toxic ties, and emotional baggage. By decluttering our metaphorical closets, we pave the path for some serious glow up and transformation. Now, the Scorpio is the 8th house. South Node in Sagittarius. Sagittarius South Nodes aren't about the drama. They're all about honesty and optimism, just a tad wary of getting let down. Their hopeful hearts often feel a bit exposed. That Sagittarius South Node is like a wise old sage guiding us to let go in order to soar higher spiritually. So there's two spiritual. The 8th house is spirituality. The 8th house, I want to say sometimes secrets too. North Node in Scorpio, that's actually my placement. And for me, part of this, and I'm bringing it up because it's obviously coming up in a reading, part of the transformational journey that I've been on a spiritual level is about connecting, standing at those gates, standing at that Sphinx gate and connecting, aligning, balancing who I am on a spiritual level. Bid farewell to those outdated patterns, toxic ties, and emotional baggage. Aligning with who I am spiritually in order to walk through to the next phase, in order to have this rebirth. Balance is Libra. Sagittarius is the archer takes its shot. Now the South Node is what you are releasing. If you think of an archer with his bow pulled back, and I said before about it needing to be balanced in your heart center. If you tie a piece of string with a big bag of sand, why did I say send? Send. With a big bag of sand to the tip of, or to the end of the arrow, the archer's not going to be able to shoot. It's about releasing, decluttering what no longer serves you. You're fixing yourself. Fix You Coldplay. This is a journey to fix yourself, to align with your true authentic self. Okay, I'm just going to get one more song. I know we've had a lot, but just one more. Just the Way You Are. When I see your face, this is to yourself. When I see your face, it's not a thing that I would change, because you're amazing just the way you are. You're going through a spiritual glow up, a DNA upgrade. That's so nice. Okay, I'm just gonna get 3 cards from your higher self. Now, these are love messages. If this reading is a love message related for you, then please take these messages. If it's not, then they're just messages from your higher self in regards to this journey harmony. Harmony is balance. Past life recognition. You've done this before. And it's time to set some boundaries with people in your life. And on the bottom, the truth will set you free. Say something. Okay, now I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. This could be your first, middle, last initial. It could be in relation to something that you're wanting to creatively birth, something new. Just take it as it resonates. It does make a little bit of noise when I shake it, so I'm going to shake it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, what have we got? We've got a H and a 4. A G and a 2. I just heard hug. You need a hug. Somebody needs to give you a big hug. A 1 and a 4. That's a very serotonin boosting, actually, a hug. Maybe you need a hug. Some sort of animal. Y and a 4. A D and a 2. A S and a 1. A Q and a 10. A C. QC. That's a Queen's Counsel. That's something to do with legal. E. That's a yes on top of yes. E and a 1. A K and a 5. An L. Elk. The spiritual meaning of an elk. Elks are believed to be the protector of the good people, as elks symbolize divine protection from evil, the devil. The elk is an animal with dignity which always follows the right path and helps people with good hearts. Protection, strength, and interconnectedness. That's beautiful. You've got elk spirit around you. Okay, so a D and a 2, an N and a 1, a Z and a 10, an F and a 4, a B and a 3, a V and a 4, an M and a 3, a W and a 4, and an I and a 1. Okay, I'm going to get you 3 final cards. See if there's anything else that your guides want to tell you. The Queen of Swords on the bottom, which is Uranus and Aquarius. You're about to make. Uranus is the planet of earthquakes. 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment. You're about to make a big change. Aquarius is, as I said, the rebel. The 10 of Pentacles. It's going to change your whole world. The 10 of Pentacles is your worth. But I want to say in this instance, and look at that on the bottom. So that card, which belongs to this deck, has been shuffled back in. So we've got 2 10 of Pentacles. This is going to bring you, I want to say, financial and spiritual abundance, because your worth, which is your 10 of Pentacles, I want to say the 3D reality is now going to align with your spiritual worth, which is your spiritual abundance. And we did have that spiritually rich and sound. The 9 of Cups. One more. So Uranus in Libra and Eight of Cups, because you're walking away from what no longer serves you. I did say that Saturn in Pisces, and we've just had that placement for the last couple of months. Saturn in Pisces is also about that huge big transformation that you go through when you go through a Saturn return, and it's long term. It's almost well, we did have the Ace of Pentacles somewhere, came out before. Long term, the Ace of Pentacles is the slowest moving. Takes a long time to learn those lessons. It's a 28-year cycle. Big, big, big karmic lessons that you learn in your life. Saturn in Pisces and the Ten of Pentacles. Mercury in Virgo. Virgo is spiritual lessons. Mercury is communication that comes in through spiritual lessons, moving you on to what is now your Nine of Cups. But what did we see on the bottom? Uranus and Aquarius. It was the Queen of Swords on the bottom, cutting things out because it no longer serves you. Three of Pentacles is where you now want to build, which is Mars in Capricorn, and we've got the Devil on the bottom. Massive big karmic lesson that you've learnt. And the Eight of Swords wanting to pop through there, which is Jupiter in Gemini, cutting through. Do I want to get anything else? I think I want to get you one more card. Anything else? Wow, look at that on the bottom. It's the Wheel of Fortune. This is brand new beginning for you. 777 is the Wheel of Fortune. Anything else? Moving away from what doesn't serve you. The Four of Wands. What you were karmically tied to from your past, which has kept you stuck and kept you in disappointment and kept you in the Ten of Wands. Heavy burdens, but it's the end. Just the same messages coming out. It's the end of that soul contract with those people, and it's a brand new beginning. This is a beautiful, beautiful reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I will list all of those songs in the description box. I'll also list the movies. There might be more messages in them for you. If you are called to, if the reading resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I do post frequently. If you're called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again in another reading.